My first duck hunt was back in 2018, and at that time, Billy and Wendy were just dating. They're now married, so Billy's now my brother-in-law. But at that time, Wendy had been accompanying Billy on his duck hunts, and every year, Wendy and Billy would come to me and say, "Hey, do you want to go, duck hunting with us?" And I would just kind of turn away and be off-put by it, and just, ew, avian flu, bird flu, like, no thank you, yuck. And so finally, again, Billy, this is probably the last time Billy wanted to ask me, but he was like, "Hey, we're gonna go out for early season teal. Do you want to go with us?" And I finally was like, "Okay, fine, why not?" But I don't have any of the equipment. And Billy goes, "Well, I have extra waders and I have an extra gun that you can use, so don't worry about that. Just meet us at our house at midnight on this date and we'll go out there." I guess I've never looked back since. My name is Sheila Vu, and this is my story. So the day finally comes, and I meet them at their house at midnight. We load up, and it's like a 2-hour trek to public land hunting. And if you guys are familiar with Colorado public land hunting, it is brutal. It's just a war zone as far as securing a spot. And if you've secured a spot, hunters will come and set up right next to you, 25, 50 yards from you. And just start shooting, sky blasting, or they'll even shoot, birds that you have been working. So anyway, back to my first hunting experience. We get there probably around 2, and Billy has this cart that he pulls out from the back of his truck, and we start loading everything up on it. I jump into the waders that he had provided for me, and they are huge. I felt like a clown wearing them just because the boots were so big, and I was like, clunking around. And then at that time I was such a greenhorn that I didn't even know I was supposed to bring a headlamp. And so I was like using the light on my cell phone to sort of guide the way for me and Wendy. So we finally get to the marsh, and I just start chucking all of the decoys out into the water, into the marsh. And I think the guys were being very, very graceful with me, because they went back out there, picked all the decoys, and organized them very nicely in a nice spread. So anyway, once we're done with that, we finally hide in all of the tall shrubbery, and before we know it, it's sun up now. And when the sun is coming up, sunrise, it is super foggy, and I at the time didn't even know you could hunt in fog. I kind of just thought to myself, well, this hunt is a bust. We can't see the ducks can't see our spread. What are we even doing out here? And then the teal, they just start zipping by, and we start shooting, and I just happened to down my first blue-winged teal. And I also remember at that time, Wendy and Billy had just gotten their puppy, Moose, and this was her first duck hunt also. And so she had been retrieving all of the ducks for us, and she did so well. And I think that's part of why I love duck hunting also, is just watching, the birds and the bird dogs work. I didn't really pay much attention to birds, or let alone ducks, at all until I started duck hunting, and I never realized how many different species of ducks there are. And so one thing I've learned to really pay attention to is identifying birds while they're mid-flight. As far as how that ties into duck hunting while we're out in the field, I love watching other hunters just work the birds. I love watching the birds work into your spread. You did something right with your spread, you're working the wind right, you're doing your calls right. And then sometimes I don't even shoot them, I just really admire the birds. Yeah, they're really neat. And then just learning about their migration patterns, learning about what their eating habits are, really learning, I don't know, I guess just about what pushes them down from up north, and what kind of ducks are going to be in which flyways or which zones. Yeah, there's just a lot of education there. Things I never really paid attention to or cared to learn about until I took up duck hunting, and now it's just constant learning that I can't turn away from. And it's just, yeah, just an ongoing learning experience. In 2021, a company by the name of Slayer Calls reached out to me via social media. They are a company out of Eagle, Idaho, and they are very well known for their duck calls, goose calls, elk reeds, elk bugle tubes, and turkey calls. And over the last couple of years, I've picked up a couple of their different goose calls. This is their honker, and then I have their ranger, and I think this is one of their Drake Slayer calls. And they do have a series of videos for you to learn how to call for the novice hunters, right? So anyway, over the years, I've learned how to really become a much more confident hunter and confident caller. And just this past weekend, while we were out, I was able to work 2 different groups of really big mallards and have them working to our spread, and we capitalized. And you know, my takeaway is, you know, forget the boys. I don't need to go hunting with them anymore. I can go out there and hunt by myself and be confident that I'm going to get the birds in and get them to work into my spread and down a couple of ducks on my own. So thank you, Slayer Calls. One of my favorite duck hunting stories or hunts that I've been on was, I don't remember, I think it might have been 2019, and it was blizzarding out. And it was, I think we had gone to church that day. And so it was myself, my fiance Lou, and a friend of ours, Chur. And Uncle Chur wasn't married at this time yet, so he had time to go out and play and stuff with us. But anyway, so we head out there and it is just blizzarding, and we know that the ducks are going to be working. The snow is going to be pushing them in. And so we sit on this slough, and before we even get to the water, Uncle Chur and I flush up like 8 mallards, and they're all greenheads. And we miss every single one of them, which was not great, but we finally set up and it's starting to really snow now. Just birds are coming in flocks, big flocks. And I think most of the birds that we got that day were probably a couple of shovelers, handful of shovelers, a widgeon, I think, and then like a couple of greenheads. So just that really was my first taste of snowstorm hunts and watching birds work low. And they don't see you, you got a lot of cover, and it's just constant shooting. So I know a lot of people don't like the cold or snow, but snowstorm hunts are the way to go. This is my waterfowl hunting story, and I hope it inspires you to get out there and just do it, start hunting. If you don't have a mentor or anyone to go to for advice, please always feel free to reach out to me. I am always happy to help the next hunter. I am no expert by any means, but I am always happy to help. So my contact information will be listed down in the description below, and y'all just get out there, get after it, and happy hunting.